Hi, I'm Taekyung a Strategic Planning Director at CMS Edu. Let me start by congratulating Unity Technologies on their New York stock market debut. I'm so grateful that I have this great opportunity to share my experiences in the educational circumstances of Korea, and to introduce Coding for Kids, or C4K, which is the collaborative project with Unity Technologies and its underlying educational implications. Hopefully, this presentation will provide you with an opportunity to understand how an educational company contributes to the coding educational field through technological advancements. First, I'd like to start off by explaining to you a bit about CMS Edu and our efforts to transform into a leading edutech company. CMS Edu first started teaching thinking power education content in 1997 and has now grown to be recognized as the leading educational company that specializes in convergent learning. Coding and software education is becoming popular and is considered really important in Korea. In 2005, coding became a mandatory subject in the public school curriculum. The main reasons for this phenomenon are thought to be the anxiety about an uncertain future and the prospect of job loss caused by rapid technological development. CMS Edu is constantly developing new and innovative content and is determined to prepare children to become leaders of future industrial revolutions to come. This year, the untech movement caused by COVID-19 has changed all industrial paradigms. However, long before untech services and digital transformation emerged as key concepts, CMS Edu had already prepared for the new paradigm shift. CMS Edu launched the coding education brand C-Cube Coding 3 years ago, and the online education service CMS On began in September. Now, for some of you, when you hear about coding, it might seem sort of strange for everybody to learn to code. When many people think of coding, they think of it as something that only a very narrow sub-community of people are doing. And they think of coding looking like this. In fact, if this is what coding is like, it will only be a narrow sub-community of people with special mathematical skills and technological background that can code. But coding, it doesn't have to be like this. We have a real problem with coding education right now. Basically, no one is very happy. Kids learning it think it is disconnected, uninteresting, and difficult. Educational authorities realize that it is a big deal for our education, but don't know how to fix it. Teachers are also frustrated. Now, I'm going to continue to look at a new method of coding education, the Coding for Kids project. We'll be releasing a new version of C4K in the next few months, and we are looking again to be able to push you in new directions. C4K is a real-time interactive educational platform that teaches coding. From now, I'm going to introduce the features of the C4K platform and its underlying educational implications for 3 aspects. These aspects are interactivity, which brings about fun and a flow state, and Python language education and discovery learning. First, real-time interactive simulations are one of the most prominent features of C4K. The kids of today, who are referred to as digital natives, tap, swipe, and pinch their way through the world. There's no doubt that young people are very comfortable and familiar with 3D computer graphics and online games. For them, real-time interactive simulation education feels familiar and is a lot of fun. In addition, a dynamic and high-quality display made with the Unity engine definitely provides a high level of concentration. Digressing for a moment, I will tell you about a psychological theory called flow. The flow theory was advanced by Hungarian-American psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. The flow is a state in which people are so involved in an activity that nothing else seems to matter. One of the most important features of a flow state is the twisted sense of time. Kids who experience the flow state lose track of time. Enhancing the time spent in flow makes our children's lives happier and successful. Flow experiences are predicted to lead to positive propensity and to better performance. According to this theory, frequent experiences of flow lead to higher productivity, innovation, and creativity. Let me now come back to what I was saying shortly before this: fun. I'd like to emphasize coding education as creativity education based on curiosity, fun, and flow, all of which we are pursuing through C4K. Especially, creativity is also the main educational philosophy of CMS Edu. To move on to the next topic, I'm going to discuss Python language education. In the last several years, Python has seen enormous growth in demand with no sign of slowing down. Today, Python is omnipresent and is used in many areas of software development. Many programming language ranking sites have ranked Python as the #1 programming language with considerable popularity gained in 2019. If you are new to programming, Python is a great place to start. One of the key strengths of the Python language is the simplicity, making it the ideal language for beginners to learn. Python has tried to lower the barrier to coding so that novices can also write production-grade code. The level of coding education is somewhat higher compared to a few years ago. I think now is the time to begin teaching through real coding languages like Python, rather than entering programming through block coding. So, in the first development year, the C4K curriculum is supposed to be designed for Python language education. However, for kids, text coding, unlike scratch coding or block coding, is still difficult to learn. Students do a lot of typing over the course. Writing codes takes tons of time, and kids cannot help making mistakes and errors during class. So, I'd like to connect the low floors concept with the Python language learning. The term low floors means an effort to help kids start to learn to code easily. This word is usually used for block coding, such as scratch coding. But today, I will demonstrate one of C4K's learning cases, reducing stress and barriers while kids write their own code. C4K has auto-completion and error correction features. And students can choose from several commands to write their code. When kids type the first few letters, C4K provides command lines. If there are errors in the code and algorithms that the students write, the error control techniques of C4K detect such errors and help students rewrite their original code without much effort. These are the low floors. Lastly, I'll present an example of bringing together the physical and virtual worlds and connecting to the world around kids with C4K. The next two examples are educational content included in C4K for learners to study concepts of software and hardware. As you can see, rather than injecting the concepts of hardware and software, C4K provides devices that allow children to think and discover for themselves by letting them observe, classify, and pay attention. These are all effective methods of discovery learning. This graph shows the founder of CMS Edu, Chung-Guk Lee's convergence approach theory. Creative thinking comes from children's curiosity, and arousing and satisfying curiosity requires discovery. And one of the educational significances of C4K lies in this kind of discovery learning. I'd like to end by emphasizing our vision for coding education. Let's zoom out a bit and ask, why are we teaching kids coding? Actually, I'm sort of skeptical about the term digital natives. When you really look at it, how is it that young people spend most of their time using new technologies? There's no doubt that young people are very comfortable and familiar with texting, browsing, and gaming. So young people today have lots of experience and lots of familiarity with interacting with new technologies, but a lot less experience with creating and expressing themselves with new technologies. It's almost as if they can read, but not write with new technologies. As kids are creating their own projects with C4K, they are learning to code. But even more importantly, they are coding to learn. Because as they learn to code, it enables them to learn many other things and opens up many new opportunities for learning. Most kids won't grow up to become professional computer scientists or coders. But those skills of reasoning systematically, thinking creatively, working collaboratively, skills they develop when they code in C4K are things that kids can use no matter what they are doing in their lives. Coding will enable kids to express their ideas and feelings in their personal lives, to be optimistic and brave about technology, and ultimately to create their jobs and their futures. Thank you for your attention. This is what I have for you today. I'm greatly looking forward to seeing you again at the next Unity for Humanity Summit. Bye.